All right, what's happening, everybody? How we doing today? We are playing around with some different times here to go and do Success with Mark live. So we're going to try Thursdays at 2 o'clock for a little while. Just want to try some different times, see what works. But this definitely works a little bit better. We'll see how it goes. But as you come on, would love to know where you're watching from. So do me a favor and let me know you're watching in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, make sure you hit hashtag replay as well. So today we are going to talk about the two-part video promotion framework for limitless exposure and leads. And I did a blog post on this earlier this week. And really, this is all about, I see a lot of people that create content. And one of the things that I have a personal preference of the way I do things. I guess the way I do it is not the way you have to do it. But I can tell you that it's worked for me and it works for many other top earners online. And there's basically two things that I focus on when it comes to creating content. So my biggest thing is I want to make sure that you understand where I'm coming from. You don't have to do it the way I do it, but the way I do it has resulted in lots of leads, lots of sales for my business, and it's worked really, really well. So the first step in the video promotion framework that I utilize and has worked really well is I like to create a pillar piece of content. Okay, and when I say a pillar piece of content, I'm talking about a timeless piece of content. Something that when I create content for my business, my focus is about creating something that will last, something that will be out on the internet for all of time. Let's put it that way, okay? Something that is relevant today, and 5 years from now, it will be just as relevant. And one of the things that I see a lot of people, and I've fallen into this trap before as well, is creating content for the short-term gain of it. And there are times where you might want to use that content for short-term gain. I'm more focused on long-term, short-term, and long-term gain. I want both. And what happens is a lot of times when you create short-term content, that's exactly what you're going to get. And you're going to find yourself in this endless cycle of creating content. Now, I like creating content. I still do it regularly. I'm doing this right now with you, creating content. So it really is something that I'm focused on in creating content and why it's so important to do. But one of the things that I do is create the pillar piece of content, something that's going to be here, again, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, so that I can still be leveraging that piece of content for my business. I still get leads today from videos I did 5, 6, and 7 years ago. And it's pretty amazing when you think about it of how you can use that content to create long-term results. So my goal is to not keep you just thinking short-term, but also thinking long-term as well, okay? So what we want to do is create a pillar piece of content, namely video. Now, if you follow me at all and you're on my email list or wherever, you'll probably notice that I create a blog post every single week, or I take an old blog post, which I did several years ago, freshen it up, add to it, make sure it's relevant for today, and then I push that out. But every single week, I create some type of content, okay? And I put that out every Monday. So if you're not on my email list, make sure you go to markharbert.com and get on my email list, check it out. I send it out to my email subscribers every single week. But I create that pillar piece of content, and then I spend the rest of the week promoting that content. See, a lot of people they get caught up in this idea that they've got to create content every single day in order to be successful. And I'm not saying you can't do that, okay? There are people that do that. I will tell you, I've tried to do that in the past, and quite frankly, for me, I didn't like it. Now, I'm all for it if you want to do it in short-term bursts. If you're going on a run and your goal is, you really have a goal that you're going to reach, maybe creating content every single day is something you want to focus on. But then you got to ask yourself, is that something you're really going to enjoy long term? Now, if you did a video every single day for 6 months to a year, I'm telling you, I've talked to people that have done this over and over, and they get burned out very, very easily. What I have found that works for me, rather than creating content every single day, I create a pillar piece of content once a week. That's a good video, a blog post, something of that nature that will last and that I can use it over and over again to leverage it in my business. So once you create that pillar piece of content centered around something that your market needs, wants, or desires, helping them solve problems. We've gone over that many times before, but you create that piece of content that solves a problem or an issue people are having, and then you spend the rest of the week promoting it, because there's a lot of people that create videos, they create blog posts, they may create other content, whatever it is, and they're on that hamster wheel of constantly creating content. That to me is no fun, okay? I don't like that. I don't want to be on a hamster wheel, okay? That's just not where I'm at. I don't want to have to post something every single day, okay? If you want to do that, cool. I don't want to do that. I want leverage in my business. So create a really good piece of content, focus on getting it out there. So then step number 2 of the framework. So we have the first one, which is create a timeless piece of content, a pillar piece of content. And then what we want to do is we want to use what I call feeder strategies to help drive traffic and awareness to that video or blog post, whatever it may be. So in this case, we're talking video. So if you're going to create like a YouTube video, then you spend the entire week promoting that video, get it out there, let people know about it, spend that time. So you use a feeder strategy like a Facebook story or an Instagram story. The cool thing about Instagram stories, especially if you're doing anything on Instagram, is that you have the ability to add a link onto your story. Okay, and I believe that's accessible to everybody now. There was at one point you couldn't do that unless you had 10,000 followers. You can actually do that now, where if you on Instagram, you can actually add that link right in your story, and people can click on that and go right to the video or the blog post or whatever it is that you're promoting. So you want to utilize that. It's a feeder strategy. And then throughout the week, you can continue to post that, on your stories, Instagram stories. Maybe you take a little section of your video and you cut that out and you use it to help promote on, say, a video post on Instagram or a video post on Facebook or, something of that nature. But what you do is you focus on the promotion of the content the rest of the week. If you have an email list, you want to make sure that you're sending that content out to your email list on a regular basis. Continue to keep that content in front of them, providing solutions and value to them. And what happens is when the time comes that you have something to promote, they are more likely to buy because they found that they've gotten value from you, and they have, that they see value in what you're providing or the solution that you're providing and the offer that you're doing. So that's really how it works. It's very simple. It's not a difficult strategy. Create a pillar content, put it out there, really spend some time making it great. Okay. Then spend the rest of the week promoting it. Now, here's the cool thing. When you create pillar content that you can promote that week, guess what happens? You can go back a couple weeks or even a couple months later, grab that piece of pillar content and go promote it all over again. You know why? Because you created a piece of content that has a long-term effect. That's the cool thing about pillar content. People don't understand, yes, you create those TikTok videos, create those Instagram reels, do the little things, do your Facebook stories, do all that stuff. It's all great, but I call it feeder strategies. Feeder strategies into the main piece of content, the main place you want to take people. And for me, that's my blog. Now, I highly recommend people have a blog, but, not everybody wants to do that. Personally, I think a blog is a long-term strategy, but it can also provide short-term benefits. And it's a great place to house all of your content. So if you go to markharbert.com, I've got blog posts. I got all my videos there. I've got my podcasts there. You can listen to podcast episodes. It's all centered in that one place. So if I spend my time with feeder strategies, sending people all over the place to different things, I'm not really centralizing what I'm doing. Now, you can also use Facebook stories and Instagram stories for short-term promotions. That's always a great way to do it. I know a lot of people that use, Facebook stories or Instagram stories for promoting offers or promoting access to, to webinars, things like that, which is great. That all works. And you can use those for short-term things. But I'm telling you, overall, 95% of the things that you do, you want to be looking at it with a long-term mindset. Not just short-term gain, but long-term gain as well. Because here's the thing. I've been doing this online marketing thing since about late 2008, really. I started creating content around the 2009, 2010 mark. And I'll tell you what, I have all this content I've created over that time, and it still works for me today. Like, I've literally created thousands and thousands of videos. I've been in thousands of videos. Just go to YouTube and type in my name, Mark Harbert. I just do it. Like, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying over time, that stuff adds up. You're going to see all the videos that I've been in, all the videos I've created. Not to mention my Vimeo account, which I use for my membership area. I've got like 13 to 1,500 videos in that one alone. And because of all this content that I've created over the years, I can go back and reuse that content whenever I want. Because here's the thing, and this is what's really cool when you create pillar content. Again, you can go back a couple months from now, grab that again and start promoting. And you want to know why you can do that? Because people forget. Okay. One of the biggest things that people get caught up in, and I got caught up in this actually very early on, is when I created a piece of content and I taught on something or I put something out there, I always felt like I had to come up with some new idea to create a piece of content around. Okay. I always felt like that. Like, I got to create something new that I've never talked about before. But here's what I found is people will actually hear something. They might get it, but they'll forget about it very soon after. Like, there are times, you ever notice, like, for those of you that have kids, you can say something to your kid, and then, like, the very next day, you have to repeat yourself again, and you have to repeat yourself again, and you have to repeat yourself again. It's like, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room. I have a 16-year-old daughter, so I know. Clean your room, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room. It's like you constantly have to repeat it and remind people of that. That's exactly the way us humans are. We hear something and we forget about it. We hear something, it might have a little bit of an impact, but then 3 months later, I hear the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. But the thing is you're at a different level than where you were 3 months ago. Maybe you've progressed in your online marketing, journey or wherever it is that you're at. You've progressed. So now you look at that and you view that thing in a better way or in a better frame of mind than you did before. So this is why creating the pillar content is so crucial. And then you go back and you continue to promote it over and over and over and over again. And then you can actually go back, like if you have it in a blog post, you can go into an old blog post, freshen it up, make sure everything is good, make sure it's still very relevant, fix it up a little bit, publish it as another new blog post. Guess what? You start recycling content over time, and the next thing you know, you've got this huge content machine that you can go back on and leverage your time with. And I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am that I've stuck with this for as long as I have, because I've done this for so long. Like, I've been doing the online marketing game, like I said, since late 2008 and creating content for, more than a decade. And I'm grateful for it. So, if you go out there again and you do a search, you'll find all kinds of stuff with my name on it, and I'll probably be long gone and that content will still be out there somewhere. But that's really what you want. And that's how you build a business, is you bring it all back to a central piece. And I've had my blog for over 10 years. It has become an asset for me. But everything I do, videos, everything, really, I use this as a 2-part video promotion framework. But you can create blog posts or any kind of content and use this exact same framework. But, think long term, guys. I love Facebook stories and Instagram stories. I think it's a great tool to use. But think about how to use them to promote your pillar content and not always just short-term gain. They're great. They are. I think it's a great way to promote. but I'm just trying to get you to think a little long term here and, do it that way. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that made a lot of sense. Just remember, create a pillar piece of content, a timeless piece of content, something that will be good even 5-10 years from now. And then use feeder strategies, like all these little strategies that you use to promote your business. Use them to promote your actual content. And I'm telling you, over time, it will do great things for your business, okay? So I appreciate you. Listen, if you got value from this, do me a favor. Share this with somebody. Tag them in the comments. Whatever. Let them know, to check this out. And I appreciate it. Love you. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you in the next live. We're going to be doing these probably, pretty much every Thursday now around this time. This time works, I think, and it certainly makes a difference, okay? So see you guys then. And again, if you are watching the replay, put #replay. I'd love to know. Talk soon, guys. Bye-bye.